As you can probably tell by now, this is a process video of me painting the best cat that I've ever had the pleasure of meeting in this lifetime. Well, I don't know if you can call it a painting. It is a pastel portrait. And I'm starting out with PanPastel to be able to get the most vibrant colors that you can possibly get in black fur. I wanted to incorporate a lot of base colors, very vibrant base colors, to make sure that they would, poke through in the finished fur. So this is what, the base layer is all about. Very, very vibrant colors. I'm not the type of pastel artist who will cover every little bit with very fine pencil marks to indicate all the individual hairs. So for me, the PanPastel base layer is actually a very crucial step. This is not just an underlayer, but this is actually the layer that you will see very much in the finished painting as well. For the eyes, I go in with the pastel pencils immediately, just because the area is so small that it doesn't really make sense to start off with the PanPastel, and also because you want to use different colors to really get the color variations in the iris and the little highlights that you can see in the eyes, so that you get all of these little subtleties. It's really just an iterative process where you put down pencil marks and then you put some other color on top, and you go back and forth between defining areas, and that's basically the entire thing. And then I guess you stop when you're satisfied with an area. Now, certain parts of the fur I will, of course, use the pastel pencils to make sure that some detail is added, but a lot of the fur will just be, as I said, just the PanPastel. I like to soften single strokes with my hands, and sometimes in some cases I will use one of the Sofft Tools to soften the marks that I'm making, and I'm really just barely touching the paper at this point. It's more like I'm touching the paper without really rubbing it or anything. I know it looks like that, but it's really barely touching the paper with a Sofft Tool to really just not disrupt the mark that I just made, but really just to soften it just a tiny little bit. Now the highlight on the nose, that's really very important. After this, I actually used a fixative And as you can see, a lot of detail was lost, but to be fair, I didn't use the fixative according to the instructions, so I will have to try again next time. But basically I had to go back in and add back a lot of the detail that I had lost through the fixing. So here I didn't record all of that, but as you can see, I added a lot of pencil marks in the fur again, and yeah, I had to redefine the eyes and everything. The nice thing about fixing it though is that when you put white on top of the black, which is something that is needed for the whiskers at the end, it'll show up much better. So that's what the fixative is really good for. But yeah, I have to experiment more with it. I really had no experience with it. It was the first time that I used it. I think I'll make an extra video about it just because I wanted to, you know, kind of explain what I did with it, but then I guess I would like to wait until I have an actual positive example of when I used it. So yeah, that'll be another video. Adding the whiskers is really nerve-wracking business just because it's so easy to mess it up. You have to be very confident in your strokes. Yeah, and you can really do some damage at this point, I guess. Yeah, if you can do it, it's really best to just do it in one swoop. But as you can tell here, I kind of started the whiskers not in the right spot, so I had to add a little bit more in the face, and yeah, it's not ideal, but it'll do if it has to. And then here I'm just softening a little bit, yeah, to make it not so stark coming out of the fur. You kind of want it to be a little bit of a soft transition from the fur to the white hairs. And that's basically it. That's the entire process. I hope that, yeah, that was somehow interesting. I'm really just trying to get back into making videos, and yeah, hope to have offered something interesting for you this time.